Hari Om. Good morning to everybody in the US. Good evening to everybody in India. Welcome to the Stotra Bodha series talk number 39 on Annamayya's Kriti review of research and suggestions. And we're very excited to invite the keynote speaker today, Dr. N.C.B. Nath, who's a retired professor of management, he's a scholar and researcher. And we have a full program today with Kusumanjali, Stotranjali, Sangeetanjali, and then my father, Dr. Prabhakar, will introduce the speaker, and then we have Nandanandan here for the concluding remarks, and Anu for the vote of thanks. So we'll start with the Veda Kusumanjali. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagum Sastanubhihi Vyasema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarkshyo Arishthanemihi Swasti no Bruhaspatir Dadhatu Om Shanti 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि व्रतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदुच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ. All right, so I don't see Govind Srinivas Garu. We can start with Mahesh. You want to do the Sangeetanjali?
Yes, I will be singing Kondalalo Nelakanna, which is an Annamayya Kriti set to Adhyayana. Kondalalo కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు కొండలంత వారములు గోపేడువాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు కొండలంత వారములు గోపేడువాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు కొండలంత వారములు గోపేడువాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు. కుమ్మరదాసుడైన గురువరతి నంబి ఇమ్మన్న వరములెల్ల ఇచ్చినవాడు కుమ్మరదాసుడైన గురువరతి నంబి ఇమ్మన్న వరములెల్ల ఇచ్చినవాడు దొమ్ములు చేసిన ఎట్టి తొండమాంజ కురవర్తి దొమ్ములు చేసిన ఎట్టి తొండమాంజ కురవర్తి రమ్మన్న చోటికి వచ్చి నమ్మినవాడు రమ్మన్న చోటికి వచ్చి నమ్మినవాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు కొండలంత వారములు కూపెడువాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు కంచిలోన నుండ తిరుకంచి నంబి మీద కరుణించి తన ఎడకు రప్పించినవాడు కంచిలోన నుండ తిరుకచి నంబి మీద కరుణించి తన ఎడకు రప్పించినవాడు ఎంచయప్పుడైనా వెంకటేశుడు మనలకు ఎంచయప్పుడైనా వెంకటేశుడు మనలకు మంచివాడై కరుణ పాలించినవాడు మంచివాడై కరుణ పాలించినవాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు కొండలంత వారములు ఊపెడువాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు.
Thank you, Mahesh. Excellent. Wonderful job. Thank you. So we can introduce the speaker and topic now.
Sri Gurubhyo Namaha, Sri Venkateshaya Namaha. So we have been having series of talks in this year on Nada, because ours is a Nada Veda Adhyayana Kendra, and also Waves Bengaluru chapter is a multidisciplinary society. So we have been having series of talks every month under Stotra Bodha. So this day we have very much, we have great opportunity to listen to Annamacharya, over whom Dr. Nath Garu has been doing a lot of research. And so he has already given some ideas about this in writing forum, which will appear this. And Nath Garu is a management professor, and he has held so many important positions during all his life. He has just crossed 94, 95 long years. So we all pray that he must touch Sampurna Ayura Arogya Aishwarya target, and see that more and more contributions are done to the field of knowledge, Veda, management science, Stotra, Puranas, and all that. And it's all divine blessing for all of us to see him and also listen to him talking on the research. So today his topic is on he's talking on the most important, the Annamayya's Kritis, review of research and suggestions. Normally all people are singing the Kirtanas of Annamacharya, and whose Kirtanas number go to thousands. Some people say 3,000, some say 6,000. Anyway, many of them have been published, and there is Annamacharya project also, where still research is going on in TTD. Secondly, Dr. C. Sitaram Lakshmi, who is the Vice President or Director of the Nada Division of the Nada Adhyayana Kendra, has been with Annamacharya Kirtanas, and she has taught several groups of people, more than 100 Kirtanas, and trained many, many singers. And therefore, to popularize Annamacharya Kirtanas is a great event, because Annamacharya is not ordinary. He's a staunch bhakta of Venkatesha, and though he has got family commitments and love and all that, he rose himself up, Annamacharya, and he has contributed greatly. And actually, his compositions were all on the copper plates hidden in the temple. And those Annamacharya Kirtanas were unearthed by great um, musicians and scholars. And among them, we have to mention also Rallapalli Anantakrishna Sarma and others. And they brought out, they scribed all those kirtanas, and so did lot of work. So today also we have got Nandanandan, who happens to be the grandson of Rallapalli Anantakrishna Sarma, and that kind of flow is going on, and he's also a flutist and a singer and all that. So Annamacharya has taught people bhakti in many, many folds. At the same time, his kirtanas are highly philosophical, highly Niti Bodha is there, Srungara Bodha is there, and Vairagya Bodha is there. That's why we can imagine that he is a multifaceted personality, with teaching people uh, all about life and life management, and see that people have got to have devoted deep bhakti towards Venkatramana and work for the moksha. And in fact, it is said there is a film also screened on this Annamacharya, and very beautiful. And so Annamacharya is a known name in the field of music. And on the other hand, we should also note he is being praised as the Padakavita Pitamaha. If Purandaradasa, or contemporary to him, were to be said as a Karnataka Sangeeta Pitamaha, he is Padakavita Pitamaha. This type of Pitamaha titles are only attributed or awarded to Purandaradasa and Annamacharya. It appears Annamacharya, even they met sometime in Tirupati also, as the history goes. However, but even today, though Annamacharya was about 13th century or so, but for the past so many centuries, right from that time, people are aware of the kirtanas, and just today we have one beautiful Annamacharya kirtana sung by our Mahesh, my grandson, and Kondalalo Nelakunna. So the location of Paramatma, Edu Kondalavada, Venkataramana. So all the mountains have got lived, Seshadri, Garudadri, Anjanadri, and so on. So out on the top of that. And moreover, there is also a cinema on Venkateswara Kalyanam. So like that, the Annamacharya, his kirtanas have formed a base for very, very great understanding and eye-opening for so many people, generations together. Not my talking much, and we are fortunate to have Nath Garu, who got his PhD from Madras University on Management Science in 1952. And another thing is, he has started studying Sukla Veda when he turned 80, and hitherto has already we have got number of deep research articles in our Veda Ganga volumes, and therefore we could see that he is an inspiration to any and everybody, and work as long as possible, and Paramatma will definitely bless necessary health, then we are also working towards that. And I remember my Dr. Kashikar, he was now, who was more than 90. He was trying to translate Manava Dharma Sutras, and he was sick also now and then. Then he told me when I asked, how are you? No, I want to complete the translation, get it published, and got it released, and all that should happen. And it did happen like that. So Paramatma will guide and protect all people. And so praying that our Nath Garu also would have full, happy, active, energetic contributor life. Now, Dr. Nath Garu. Hello? Yeah, he's mute and no video. Mhm.
Yeah, I have asked for the video and asked to unmute.
Mm. So, Sitaram Lakshmi also is there. We wait for Nath Garu. I don't know what's the. And again, 18.
He has some connection problems, so maybe yeah, you can talk more.
Hello?
బ్రహ్మం అతడే లోకనాయకుడు అతని కంటే మరి అధికులు లేరయ్యా అతడే పరా బ్రహ్మం అందరూ నుండెడి భూమి అన్యులకు గలదా అందరూ నుండెడి భూమి అన్యులకు గలదా అందపు గోవిందునికే ఆదాయగా అందరూ నుండెడి భూమి అన్యులకు గలదా అందపు గోవిందునికే ఆదాయగా చందిన భాగీరథి శ్రీపాదల గలద చందిన భాగీరథి శ్రీపాదల గలద మందరధరుడైన మాధవునికే గక చందిన భాగీరథి శ్రీపాదల కలద మందరధరుడైన మాధవునికే గక అతడే పరా బ్రహ్మం అతడే లోకనాయకుడు అతని కంటే మరి అధికులు లేరయ్యా అతడే పరా బ్రహ్మం Thank you.
Thank you, Anu. It's wonderful rendering of the song. Thank you.
My study of Annamacharya's Kirtanas is a part of a large effort, a college of 50 papers on Bhakti Jignasa. It is an attempt to understand the various aspects of Bhakti. One of the three margas, Gnana, Karma, and Bhakti, of the three margas discussed for liberation, Bhakti is unique. The practitioners need no qualifications. It pairs well with the other images. Bhakti and Gnana are considered the two sides of the same coin. It is both a beginner's choice and the adept's preference for whatever reason. Some well-known Western academicians or academics have held a view that Hindu Bhakti concepts are derived from Christian thought. This has been rejected. Swami Harshananda has refuted this plea in his introduction to Shandilya Bhakti Sutras. Bhakti has its roots in the Samhitas, Upanishads, Puranas, and Itihasas. We have special texts also like Narada Bhakti Sutras, Sandilya Bhakti Sutras, and on. And there is also a point of view that Bhakti is a revolt against tradition and opposed to the caste distinctions. Local liberal thinkers have held that contact with Islamic rebellions they have called Bhakti a movement, a social protest. Some of these may need revision. Bhakti is the expression of ecstasy by a devotee. Annamayya Kirtanlu is expressions of his ecstasy. And Bhakti poetry is very much is available in Sanskrit and original languages. Some are set to music and become performing arts like Gita Govindam in Sanskrit and Kshetraya Padamlu in Telugu, Divya Prabandham in Tamil, example into, and Dasa Sahitya in Kannada language. They are also called Vaggayakaras. Important Vaggayakaras in Telugu are Annamayya, Kshetraya, then Ramadasu, Tyagaraja. And Tadlapaka family, founder of Annamayya, is an extraordinary family in the 15th century of writers who made a contribution to Telugu Sahityam and Sangeetam. It has not been repeated since the contributions of the founder Annamacharya are well known. His 7 family members also have significant contributions. This paper is to put together available information, suggest a plan to fill the gaps. If any, understandably, the central point is the Pada. They are migrants from North Benares who settled down in Talapaka village of the Kadapa district. They are Advaitins who got converted into Vaishnavism by the founder of the Ahobla Mutt. Their Adhyatma Kirtanas reflect this new affiliation. And this Annamayya and the Talapaka group of people have some of their work embossed on a copper plates at their own expense, royal grant. They were stored in the temple walls. Even with this method, as only less than half of them are available today. Even this is many times larger than the number of available compositions by Tyagaraja Kirtanas. Actually, Tyagaraja Kirtanas amount to around 700 compositions, and these Kirtanas are printed, and Kalluri Veerabhadra Shastri has done a monumental work before him Visa Apparao, and giving commentary and presenting all of them in 2 volumes. And there are munificent donors to temple rituals who rededicated their personal grants for this purpose. The family line continues today and contributes to the temple activities in many places, but they do not seem them to have been authors. There is no consolidated history of the family, a standard history of the family of Taldapaka people. Photographs will be an addition to the history of Telugu poets. Telugu Sahityam and Sangeetam have benefited by their activities. This paper deals only with the Sahitya due to our limitations. Experts in Sangeeta could usefully deal with it. The two together will complete the picture. And the writings of the family, apart from that 32,000 padas, the family has written 42 works, of which 16 are published, 5 to be published, and 19 not available. There could be more, we do not know. They cover a large variety of metrical poetry, books on poetics and literary history. The annexure has a list. The most useful for our purpose is the history of Annamayya by his grandson Chinna Anna. It remains a source book. And now coming to talk about Annamayya Kirtanalu, it is Chinnanna's book which gave information of the number of Kirtanas, 32,000. These were they were all embossed on the copper plates and stored in the Tirupati temple walls near the Hundi. Annamayya songs were sung in the temple rituals for these many years, but sometimes not recognized. They were lost for a few centuries. For a few centuries, the history of their rediscovery and publication is fascinating. Tradition says that Annamayya requested the Lord to hide them with himself. Dachuko, there is a reference to that. 2:3:38 song tells that ఈ కీర్తనలన్నీ మీరు దాచుకోండి అని స్వామిని వేడుకుంటాడట. He seems to have obliged the Paramatma, obliged the devotee. He continues to do it. And history of the discovery and publication is interesting. The introductions to the published volumes contain the following historical information. The first reference to them were in the temple's inscriptions of the year 15,000 and 15,000 and odd. And this is a few years after Annamayya's death. Then they go unnoticed for 4 centuries. Only in 1922, the temple administration started taking interest in them. Since then, it is a checkered history of the activity, negligence activity. The last volume, the 29th new series, was published in 1999. There have been no additions since then. One of the editions has said, Shreyamsi Bahuni Vignani. Shreyamsi Bahuni Vignani. It has been a bumpy ride. A lot was done and more perhaps needs to be done. Many well-known scholars have been associated with this effort. For example, Veturi Prabhakara Shastri Garu, Rallapalli Anantakrishna Sharma of the earlier generation, and they were the pioneers. And summary of numbers we can give here. Family historian Chinna Anna has said that a total of divided into 2 groups, spiritual and heretic, Adhyatma Kirtanalu and Srungara Kirtanalu. The total recovered till date is 29 volumes, 15,000 Kirtanas or sung songs by him. And as the process of finalizing it took a number of years, different numbers are quoted by different authors. We thought we could bring a temporary finality to it. And so, for example, Adhyatma Sankirtanas are 2,133. Srungara Kirtanas are 11,846. Chinna and Pedda Tirumala 1,120. Totally, Pedda Tirumala also contributed, but totally we have got 15,105 Kirtanas in favor of Annamayya. And these also contain errors. There is a mix-up between Adhyatma and Srungara, those of Annamayya and his children. This can be set right only by examining each song. This kind of final audit is overdue. Till then, we have only approximations regarding the count of the Annamacharya's Kirtanas. Annamayya seems to have sung the Adhyatma first and Srungara Kirtanas next, in a way showing his spiritual growth. Carnal erotism matured into divine love. In Vaishnava philosophy, the Lord is the only male. All others are women. Puman Vishnuriti Khyatihi Sri and Vishnumayam Jagat. And the songs by children of Annamaya Charya, attributed to them may be due to under enumeration or smaller output. They are distinct group. They carried the legacy and added their own. Two editors have commented on them in 3 volumes, 10th, 15th, and 17th of the 29 volumes brought out. A detailed study of these has not been done. It has to be done. It's overdue again. So when we try to analyze the Kirtana, each Kirtana, then we come to note there is substantial amount of literature on them. Some of it is supported by the TTD, Tirupati Tirumala Devasthanam people, and there are a large number of doctoral recitations in Telugu by so many scholars. Research in English, however, seems to be limited. All are mostly in Telugu language. The research has been done. The authors have chosen their simple sample of comments. There is no effort to look at the total. Maybe the numbers have daunted them, so we have different samples to represent the totality. Maybe they are representative. An audit of the totality is a good research requirement. And then we have alternate templates also available. And we have 4 groups, comments by the editors. The two of these of Anandamurti, son of first philosopher Prabhakara Shastri, later research by scholars in universities, and Dr. Narasimhacharya and Mr. Ramesh in English dealing with only Adhyatma. It would be useful if we can study them all and evolve a comprehensive frame of analysis. Then 15,000 songs can be divided into meaningful groups. Such a comprehensive study will cover all the topic. Rallapalli Anantakrishna Sharma has mentioned them and more. We will be evaluated. We have evaluated each song with multiple perspectives, reconciled the contradictions. If any, we should remember that they were sung as the numbers came to them by the Talapaka poets, particularly by Annamayya. It was a spontaneous outburst of a devotee, 1 or more songs each day throughout his life. So post fact, we are identifying the magnificent edifice that has evolved, including issues of grammar, local idiom, the use of language of the area he came from, that is Kadapa. So the Kadapa Telugu is being used because in Andhra Pradesh, the Telugu has got different dialectical variations. This Rayalaseema Telugu is one, and Telangana Telugu is another, and Pakka Andhra areas Telugu, and like that. If such a comprehensive work is presented to this generation, would have helped to understand Annamayya, the philosopher, the devotee who preferred to use the spoken language of his time to impart knowledge, inspiration to all the contemporary people. So that would be our humble tribute to an understanding the personality, each song in its place. Now, if we just analyze the editors of the volumes on Annamayya, it will be interesting to note down the text construction given their analysis of the songs themselves in some volumes. Taken together, they are an excellent source of critical appreciation. While they must have been consulted by later researchers in their work, there is no collective critical appreciation of this excellent effort. We recommend that it to be done again. Then we can have 6 editors. That is called Parikshakartas have been evolved in this massive work. So we have got 6 editors. I just read there were Vetur Prabhakar Shastri did 6 volumes. Rallapalli Anantakrishna Sarmagaru did 7, 8, 13, 14, 16th volumes. And also then Gauri Peddi Ramasubba Sharma has taken up 1 to 5, 13 to 16, 18, 25 volumes. And Srinivasa Sarchakam Srinivasa Charulu, 10th volume. P.T. Jagannath Rao, 12 and 17. Kamisetti Srinivasalu, 26 and 7. The last 2 volumes do not mention the names of the editors. So the first 2 are stalwarts of an earlier era, that is Gauripeddi bridges the old and new. Archakam and Jagannatha Rao have been associated with the seniors but have added their perceptions. While no names are mentioned for the last 2 volumes, comments seem to have been drawn from earlier volumes as the base and some new added. Now Gauripeddi Rama Subba Sharma, the less known, but the key figure is in the editing is that Gauripeddi Rama Sharma, who had assisted Rallapalli Anantakrishna Sharma in earlier text examination and interpretation, and Panduranga Mahatyam by Tenal Ramakrishna, that made the current work an easy and respected continuing the association. His regard for the older school scholar shows in all introductions. He has either edited and helped to edit the largest number of volumes. It is an education to read them. Not surprising that his 12th volume is prescribed for the graduate students of Venkateswara University as a reference. So there are also degrees taken from Venkateswara University on Annamacharya Kirtana studied, and his comments over a range of from grammar, interpreting less known words, comments on Adhyatma and Sringara, his perceptive notes on establishing of the meaning of words not in use now or used in specific areas of Rayalaseema is an excellent guide to linguistic research. Equally erudite is the interpretation of songs. Archakam and Jagannath Rao have written the scholarly appreciations of the songs of Chinna and Peta Tirumalacharya. Then we go to talk about the Lord's recognition of the contribution. This is very important because in the Kirtanas, we observe Venkatramana Swami is a wonderful character, live character, who has appreciated and given him good ranking also. Whether we value this wealth of learning or not, the Lord seems to have valued it as the incident of grant of the title of court to Ananta Krishna Sarma a few hours before his death would show. In fact, Lord Venkatramana Swami's TTD people have reached Aralapalli Ananta Krishna Sarma in Anantapuram, who was staying in his house in his son's place, Panisai, who was principal of National College, Jayanagar. And just a few minutes before, and they all came, and that P.K. Rao, who was the executive officer at that time, with his band of people, visited, gave that, and Ranalapalli Ananthakrishna Sarma simply shed tears in his eyes, saying that now Lord Venkateswara has recognized my work, PBA. So that was the last expression of Ranalapalli Ananthakrishna Sarma. So PVRK Prasad, the executive officer, and Veturi Prabhakar Shastri, all of them were recognized. So the Lord is not mute, he is active. Such an act of such an act of discipline will really bring laurels to the board. And ultimately, even Prasad Rao Garu also told that it was a sudden move to compliment and to honor Ralapalli Ananthakrishna Sarma. And although later on several objections came up, still it was silent, and he was recognized. Mysterious are the ways of the. That's why it is said, interestingly, the Paramatma knows, but the mysterious are the ways of the Lord. And there are so many critical comments made by the editors. Ananthakrishna Sarma, in his blessings to the thesis of Anandamurti, has given an interesting list of topics which could be commented upon while studying the padas of Annamayya. Sahitya, reflecting Vedanta, tradition, history, language, grammar, idiom, meter, the characteristics of the padas, and literary art. Each as an ocean of inquiry. Research have covered them in their own way. Much needs to be done. So this is the great scholarly comment on the work done on Annamayya Kirtanas. In fact, some scholars are there who would be really not completely satisfied, but still they pass that kind of work further. Something like, if at all I, Prabhakar, were to tell my research guide, Dr. G.V. Devasthali, when I wrote article on Agni number of times, and ultimately he just say, the scope for improvement is not exhausted. That was the comment given by my research guide. Like that, even Ralapalli Ananthakrishna Sarma also has given that the scope cannot be exhausted by anything. Now we talk about the Veturi Anandamurti. In his extensive research, he has extended the work of his father. He put Annamayya in his family milieu, and his comments cover Adhyatma, Srungara, and his philosophy, and Nayanaram Prabandham, surroundings of the Tirumala Tirupati, gods of the neighborhood temples, Utsavas in the temples, the places he visited and gods in them. For example, Narasimhaswamy in Ahobalam. He has also commented on issues of grammar, idiom, spoken language, and musical aspects. It could be used as a working draft for the final template. Narasimhacharya and Mr. Ramesh have written 3 volumes on analysis of Pada in English. Their attention is confined to only Adhyatma Kirtanas and focus on Sri Mahavishnu and Vaishnavism. Their work is many years after the last volume of Kirtanas were published. Surprisingly, they have made no mention is made of editors' comments. They have not used them earlier. The senior author was the professor of Sri Vaishnavism at Madras University. The younger researchers have covered the same ground broadly, but the choice of Pada. And moreover, the analyzing this Sringara Kirtanas also is interesting. Actually, there are 12,000 Sringara Kirtanas coming into, and are 6 times those of Adhyatma are not easy to analyze. They were sung like the others when was inspired. Scholars take a position that as he matured in bhakti, he moved into Sringara bhakti, which gopis of Bhagavatam as the ideal. Because Madhura bhakti is very important, because bhakti layers are very well portrayed by Annamacharya, and ultimately it goes into Madhura bhakti. And the traditional way of analyzing them is to use the types of men and women in erotic relations from Sanskrit poets, because the Sringara Kirtanas are a great attraction. They containing, giving out many Bhakti Sringara secrets. And one of the Annamayya's researchers has given a number of 1108 for Nayika Nayaka Sambandha, and no number is given for Nayakas. Only Nayakis are highlighted. And it is a permutation and combination exercise of the nature, position, situation, feelings, and aids. As a part of analysis, the situation depicted in the pada is matched with the type. As the moods of the poet changed, the content of the song also changed. The song may represent one typical situation or many situations. The templates mentions a few types. It is possible that Annamacharya chosen a smaller number. One contention is that they sang about the divine consort, Alimelu Manga, and she is a Swiya Nayika, his own wedded wife, Alimelu Manga Devi. Another is to identify oneself with a lover demanding union, the philosophical analysis with Jiva seeking union with Paramatma. A comprehensive analysis of all songs will clarify the position. Research has still now adopted the method of matching songs with some types. And there are several issues of language used and meaning of the words, and they are also interesting for us. So, for all, a dictionary of Tallapaka usage, as suggested by Kamisetti Srinivasulu, will be useful and welcome. And Kannada scholars have put together such a dictionary encyclopedia for their Vachana Sahitya. And therefore, now I have got some suggestions to make, as Dr. Nath Garu put it here. This paper leads to the following list. It may please be considered a comprehensive history of Tallapaka family, final audit of padas by category, linking them to numbers of the copper plates, a consolidation of editors' comments with a critical review, a comprehensive template for evaluation of songs, a review of songs of Chinna and Pedda Tirumala Ayyangars, and using the new template to fix the position of each song and its standard translation in Telugu, a dictionary or encyclopedia of words used by Annamayya and his children, a plan of translating significant padas into other vernaculars or languages of our Bharat, not only Telugu, English, and Kannada, but other language people must also dive deep into the padas and their meaning and their communication, the message, the instruction, the upliftment scope, and all that, so that it will be a great contribution. And then Annamaya would be a universal singer, Vagayakara, but see, all great men think alike. And so in that context, we see and so now, yes, I'm sorry, the younger generation will get a comprehensive view of Tallapaka Padasahitya. They can apply their minds to this treasure of more than half a century ago and draw their own conclusions. If at all we were to draw that Annamacharya has done a tremendous work in the span of life. In the cinema on Annamacharya taken, at last Lord Venkateswara appears to before Annamayya, who was more than 80 years and all that. Then Venkatramana Swami tells Annamayya, I give you another 80 years of long life. Please keep on composing and singing my songs. Then that Annamacharya replies that Nagarjuna played the role. Aya, I am so much tired. Alasitini nenu. I am tired. I don't want any more extension of my life. So this is the end of it. And all that you just hide them and given to you. That was the last dialogue between Lord Venkateswara and Annamayya, because Annamayya and it was both of them were pleased. The Devaries of Venkatramana Swami, with them he came and gave darshan to, and ultimately Annamayya becomes a Jyoti and merges into the heart of Venkatramana. Now we talked about the annexures which our NCB Nath Garu had prepared. The writings of the Tallapaka family relation and copper plates, Sringara Manjari, 12 Satakams, and Jipadar Ramayanam, Venkatachala Mahatma in Sanskrit, and Sankirtana Lakshanam in Sanskrit, and Subhadra Kalyanam, and San Sankirtanalu, then Venkateswara Vachanamulu, Sringara Dandakam, Chakravala Manjari, Sringara Vrutta Satakam, Venkateswara Udaharanam, Niti Satakam, Sudarsana Ragada, and Refa Rakara Nirnayam, Bhagavad Gita translation into Telugu, Harivamshamu, and Sankirtan Lakshana Vyakhya, Sri Venkateswara Prabhata Stavamu, then grandson is then the Sankirtanalu, then Chinna Tirumala Charya has done the Sankirtanas, and second grandson did three Sankirtanas, that is called Ashtabhasha Dandakamu, Sankirtana Lakshanamu, and also another grandson Chinnanna has made Annamacharya Charitra. The fourth son of them he is called Paramayogi Vilasamu, Ashtamahishi Kalyanamu, Usha Pariniyamu, Amarakamu. Then other grandson did this Bala Prabodhika commentary on Amarukam. Then Sudha Nithi commentary on Kavya Prakash of Mammata, Ramachandra Upakhyanam, Shakuntala Pariniyam. Oh, like that he has enlisted also so many. So Anandamurti, Veturi Avamurti, Tallapaka Kavitvamu, and thesis to Osmania University. We have added this table to give an idea of erudition of the family of Annamacharya of Tallapakas. So the 7 generations have subsisted the inspiration and continued to spread the Annamayya's project, or rather Annamaya Kirtanalu, and made that immortal in the history of Sankirtana Paddhati, and consolidated table of some details of the 29 new series of volumes published by the TTD. Final as now given that Adhyatma Sankirtanalu 1980 started and went on 1981, 86, 86, and secondly from Sringara Kirtanas began publication in 1976, 500 to begin with 580 Kirtanas, 1947, 1960, 1967 again Sringara Kirtanas are published, 1967, 61, 63, 65, 65, like that they went on going. The last volume, 29 volumes I talk about, the last volume will be 1999. Afterwards, the study on Annamacharya Kirtanas or publication from TD people have not appeared. But anyway, I just want to add a note. That's what Nath Garu says. This combines a number of tables, and Veturi Prabhakar Shastri, Rallapalli Ananthakrishna Sharma, Gauri Peddi, Ramasubba Sharma, and Archanam Srinivasacharyalu Kamisetti. The two series of volumes can create confusion. Better stick to the last one. So Annexure 3 is also there. Topics on which the editors have commented, also given Bhakti Srungara of Annamayya, Srungara as Alankara, Annamayya Srungara. Sorry, the poetic focus on Annamayya, the art of Srungara Nataka, Srungara Rasa Swarupam, and the language of Bhakti, use of Sokal words, and Srungara categories are all photographed. I mean, categories are there: photocopy, copper plates, Pada literature, and then also we have got unique expression of uncompromising Vaishnavism things are there. Then the entire paper runs to actually 30 pages, and I cannot present all those things or read here, and we can expect all that to appear in the Vedagaya volume 29. But anyway, in the last, he says that this is a college of topics covered by researchers. The most detailed work is by Anandamurti, and Adhyatma classification is easy. Srungara deals with typologies. They differ with the theories. It is a permutation and combination exercise. We do not know how many of these Annamaya has used. The number 1108 Nayikas is based on Srungara Rasamanjari. We have to add to that the Nayaka classification also. That is one suggestion to all the Annamacharya researchers who are doing research on Annamaya Kirtanas, because the work on Annamaya has not stopped at all. And there is Annamaya Acharya Jayanti. Even in our Nadaveda Adhyayana Kendra, we have been having every year almost, probably during April, the Annamaya Jayanti, and where so many Kirtanas of Annamaya are only sung, but little commentary or explanations or meaning are given. Even outside India, in America also, we have got the projects, and every year they are holding this. So I come to know that the Kirtanas of Annamaya are also popularized, but not from the interpretation, meaning, communication, message, and advice. Therefore, it is necessary that the Nayakas, Kirtanas, also to be studied and popularized and published. Then language, grammar issues are difficult to classify. They can be accounted for after the complete study. This could lead to a dictionary of Annamaya Padas. One has to start with a draft template and finalize it to the after the study. It is an unusual situation. Normally a standard is available, but we do not have one as such. So this is the summary. Here and there I covered the matter which our Nath Garu already drafted in his 30 pages article, which he sent me beforehand. He says, this is my part of presentation of my today's talk. So thereby we do see that, but now we have got the author of this paper present before us. I just request him to talk further anything on that for some time. Nath Garu, you can speak too, if at all you want to add anything for that. I just helped you to read out your paper. You are unmute. Unmute your thing. So to see him itself is a Mahapunyam, because he is just only less Satamanam, 100 years, and he should overlive 100 years. So to see him itself is a great fortune to all of us. One of the staunch researchers on not only Annamacharya Kirtanas, not only on Vaishnavism, not only on the Prabandham and so much of Vaishnavism, but still Vaishnavas literature, also on several other facets. So in Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, and Atharveda. So I wish he can speak, but of course, mute. Sir, unmute it. Then, Babu, shall we continue with the... he is there.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yes.
We can hear
Hello.
you. We can hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
I think thank you very much for reading my paper. And there seem to be a lot of problems. No. Hello. Hello.
Yes. Go on.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Nath garu.
Hello.
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Hello. Can't.
We can hear you.
Thank you very much for reading my paper. I think something went wrong with the internet connection. Sorry.
No problem. Thank you so much. Nandan, are you there to give your talk remarks?
Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Nandan.
Yeah, you
Yes,
are
yes,
audible.
you are.
Now you can present your PPT.
1 minute, sir. I just share my screen.
Yeah.
Is the screen visible?
Yeah.
So actually, this was a presentation made earlier with a comprehensive one on my grandfather's complete works. As it is known, he is Sangeeta Kalanidhi, Ralapalli Anantakrishna Sharma is erudite and a legendary composer. And he has done monumental work on Annamacharya. So the relevant slides of his work on Annamacharya alone I am presenting today. Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta Vithi Sadatam Sancharam Annamayya Pratirupam Tam Rallapallim Purum Stuve. This is the credit given to him. Actually, he is called as the Pratirupam of Annamacharya, as Annamacharya has been reborn as Rallapalli Anantakrishna Sharma. This is the opinion of many of the great scholars. And I begin by praying my reverence to my grandfather and also to Annamayya Annamacharya. So I'll just go through the slides which are relevant to his contribution to Annamacharya. My grandfather was born in Ralapalli village and he is held in high estimate in the states of Andhra and Karnataka. He was, because of his mastery of two distinct fields, not only literature, he was a great scholar in Sanskrit, Telugu, Prakrit, Kannada, and also he was a Vagyayakara and has monumental contribution in Carnatic classical music, both in the theory and as a composer. And no other man of his times can claim this dual credit. Because of this unique mastery of not only literature and Sangeetam, and also as a Vagyayakara, he was chosen by the TTD for in the Annamacharya project. So I'll just go directly to the Annamacharya, his contribution to Annamacharya works. Of course, just to inform, because of his contribution, he was awarded several titles: the honorary D.Litt degree by SV University, the Sangeeta Kalanidhi by the Madras Music Academy, Gana Kala Sindhu, Gana Kala Prapurna, Sangeeta Kala Ratna, and he was honorary member of Central Sangeeta Natak Academy. He was given the Sangeeta Sahitya Asthana Vidwan award, and this award was given just a few minutes before he left his mortal body. And Venkateshwara himself has come and blessed my grandfather just before he left his body. That is the greatness of him. And subsequently, a great 7-feet bronze statue has been installed by TTD in Tirumala, where his contributions have been engraved on marble pillar, and we can see the picture of this statue. This was inaugurated in the 23rd August 2008 by the TTD. And just to mention that Vagyayakara is a person who can simultaneously compose both the Sahityam and Sangeetam. That is not only the musical aspect, but also the Sahityam seamlessly. There are few people who can do only Sangeetam. There are few people who can do only Sahityam. But a Vagyayakara, also called Ubhayakara, is a person who can do both. And my grandfather belongs to this rare category, and he was a Vagyayakara on his own merit. Because of his reluctance, many of his compositions have not come to light. And it is, one can say, Annamacharya's songs would not have come to light but for the research and contribution of many people, one of whom is my grandfather, and also Veturi Prabhakara Shastri. Now I directly go to his contributions on Annamacharya. It is known that Talapaka Annamacharya is a Sri Vaishnavite saint and composer who lived between 1408 to 1503. And he has composed over 32,000 songs on Annamacharya. These are called Padas or Sankirtanams, and he is called the Patakavita Piha Pitamaha. It is also known that Venkateshwara appeared in his dream and told him to compose at least one song per day. And at the rate of one song per day, over a career, over a life of almost 90 years or 90 plus years, he is supposed to have composed 32,000 songs. Because of the Muhammadan attack on temples, many of these Sankirtans which are on copper plates, they were hidden. And they have not come to light for several centuries. And only in the 1920s, some of these copper plates have come to, it was discovered accidentally in Sangeeta Bhandaram. And out of this 32,000 songs, only 8,000 songs alone are available today, which are discovered in Tirumala. It has been rumored that another 8,000 like this are all hidden in different temples. Some people say some are in Tiruchi in Srirangam, some like other Sri Vaishnavite centers, or probably some more could be still available in Tirumala, but till date they have not been found. And if you see these copper plates, only the Sahityam is mentioned, and Ragam is given. There is no mention of Talam. There is no musical notation available. And during his time, Annamacharya has composed about using only 80 different ragas, which were popular in his time. Some of these are popular and many of them are not popular. So the editing of research and editing of first converting the copper plates, editing the text, editorial work and research of these songs was during 1915-1974. During this period, my grandfather has played a key role in unearthing these songs. Out of this, 120 of them he has set to music himself, and these are published in 2 volumes, volume 1, volume 2 of the others are all editorial work. So the main difficulty he faced, that as I am mentioning, there is no mention of Dhatu and Talam. And because of his mastery and vivid imagination of Sanskrit literature, he had to imagine what possible Dhatu and what Talam can be used. And for this, he had to used his knowledge of chandas, both the Telugu chandas and some and the Sanskrit chandas. And to do this work, the TTD wanted a person who knew exhaustive knowledge of not only Telugu Sahityam and also the Sangeetam. So he was handpicked for this job. And there is one special feature which he has followed, and he has preserved the originality of the songs. And he has followed one rule, that whatever while composing, he has retained the same ragam as what was done by Talapaka in the original plate. And when he has set to music, he has not changed the ragam. Whereas subsequent researchers have deviated from this, and they have set to music in many of the ragas which were common to them, and they have deviated from the original plates. But my grandfather was of the opinion that the originality has to be preserved, and therefore he has composed in the same ragas. And we see that there are many common ragas like Shankarabharanam, Bhairavi, Bukhari, Kamboji, etc. And he has used all of them. But some of the ragas used in Annamacharya, which are mentioned in the plates, were almost not in use. They had become almost extinct. And he had to do extensive research on these ragas to find out how the raga lakshana looks. And based on that, we see that very few, some of these ragas are Samanta, Shuddha Vasanta, Deshikakshi, Salanga Nata, Padi. Many of these ragas during the time when my grandfather did research had almost become extinct, and nobody knew what are the raga lakshanas of this. So right from Sangeeta, Sampradaya, Pradarshini, and earlier text up to the Vedic text, he had to go through a lot of research and to find out how these ragas could possibly have been used. He has seen the compositions of contemporary writers like Purandara Dasa and earlier people, and how the raga lakshanas have been preserved by them. And he has gone with the assumption that probably Annamacharya also would have followed the same raga lakshanas for these ragas. And because of this, as a mark of recognition of his outstanding work, Annamacharya, the TTD conferred on him the prestigious Sangeeta Sahitya Asthana Vidwan in 1979. And about only 120 songs he was able to set to music. All others were only translated. These are called Talapaka Patalu with musical notation. Research and edited, set to music by Rallapalli Anandakshmi Sharma, Volume 1, 1952. Serial number 39 of the Sri Venkateshwara Oriental series. The second volume is Rallapalli Patalu, again, volume number 57, Volume 2, again in 1952. And we can see that, for example, probably the most common song which has been popularized by M.S. Subbulakshmi is the Brahma Kadigina Padamu, which are set in Bukhari Ragam. And this music is wonderful song. The music is set by my grandfather. There are some more like Alarulu Guriyaganatadane, it is in Shankarabharanam. It is supposed to be the first song for which my grandfather set music. So these are some of his contributions to Annamacharya. These are the relevant slides. So the rest are all connected to him. Just before I conclude, I once again just wish to speak Samskrita Prakruta Andhrangla Karnataka Dravidoktisho Tapasyantam Rasadhinam Vandeham Krishna Deshikam. Words on my grandfather. And Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta Vithi Sadatam Sancharam Annamayya Pratirupam Tam Rallapallim Gurum Stuve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nandan. Very, very nice information. Thank you, sir. So I think
Annapurna
yeah,
should. See, our Dr. NCB Nath Garu has given the academics and research and other details of the Kirtanas, and saying that it is a life project to anybody who takes up a study of Annamacharya Kirtanas. And to wrap up, our Nandanandan, who is our pet student of National College and a classmate of my children, of Lalita and others, and he was, we were aware of him right from time. But I asked him to just speak because he has. And every year they will celebrate in Ralapalli village the Annamacharya celebrations on annual day. And there, Ralapalli and Ananta Krishna Sarma's annual celebrations. And so today we have had some knowledge about the contribution of Ralapalli Ananta Krishna Sarma also. In fact, we both have got a grand memory meeting him number of times. In fact, my wife, Sita Ramalakshmi Garu, wanted Ralapalli Ananthakrishna Sarma to be the guide for a research on research degree registering in Bengaluru University. And when we approached him, then Ananthakrishna Sarma told, I am too old, Amma, I cannot take up this grand work. But anyway, then she has to go to some other guide, Chanakesavaya, who was in Madras and all that. So, but wherever we went, we used to have a lot of discussion with Ralapalli Ananthakrishna Sarma. And one more important point is, I remember when we told Ralapalli Ananthakrishna Sarma, so sir, we went to Tirupati. There so many people are there who remember you and who inquired about you when we said that we came from Bangalore. Then when we said like that to him, he said, no, వాళ్ళు మంచి వాళ్ళు నన్ను తలుచుకుంటారు, నాలో ఏమీ లేదు. They are very good people, they remember me, but I am nothing. So that kind of impersonalistic attitude was there in him, not taking any ego in him. But so this Vetur Prabhakar Shastri and all people have worked. So up to then our Nath Garu said by 1999 last publication means still now we are in 2014. I wish more and more work to be done on Annamacharya. Not my talking more. With all thanks to the Nandanan, I request Srimati Annapurna Duvuri, my daughter, who is a music teacher, violinist, and also a software engineer. So she will be talking now.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and really blessed to be in this stage where Nath Garu's comprehensive history of Sri Annamacharya and the difficulties in getting the great Vagekara's work out through Nandan's grandfather Ralapalli Ananthakarmagarya's story. So all of this is very exciting to learn. We have seen the popularity in the 90s onwards of Annamacharya Kritis and through various TTD projects where it has come into life. And now there is many places where Saptagiri Sankirtanas have been formulated, which is 7 gems of Annamacharya Kritis that are sung during the Aradhana times. And also there are organizations such as Silicon Andhra and other prestigious music institutions who have started conducting Annamacharya competitions to popularize, specifically looking at that composer. So there is a lot of interest, popularity, and the through what Nath Garu and described, and all the effort that Nandan shared about his grandfather, the mission is accomplished. I mean, it is to that point that everybody is able to enjoy the different types of ragams, whether it was formed with a particular ragam in alignment with what was found in the scriptures, or what has been composed. The songs are close, near and dear to everybody, whether it is to be sung for Tirumala Venkateshwar Swami or any other enjoying the different Shrungara Kirtanas. Today, Mahesh sang one of the songs, Kondalalo Nelakunna, that is one of the Saptagiri Sankirtana songs. Thank you to Mahesh. He did a good job singing the invocation song. And Also the other Adhyatmika ultimate is Tade Parabrahma. There is nobody else other than him who can take care. So that is a beautiful song that that's composed by Sri Annamacharya that I rendered earlier. So these are, I mean, whether it is, regardless of, now everything has become global. It is not necessarily only in India or elsewhere. We have Indians across all over the world. So everybody with the music interest are looking at the different Composers' Day. Actually, in fact, yesterday was Composers' Day in Indianapolis. So we had songs from various composers, and there was the mention, Nandan, you mentioned Padi Ragam. So we had two songs in Padi. One is Bhummani Adi Shruti and Chakkani Talliki Changubala. So two beautiful songs of Sri Annamacharya that were rendered. And of all other songs, but particularly Padi Ragam, which is a rare ragam. We don't see that very common in the other composers' compositions. So with that, the very first foremost, Nath Garu, we know about the songs when we sing, and we try to understand the meaning from the transliteration or the way we can understand the language, because they are very close to how we can interpret in some cases. In some cases, there is a very intricate meaning that you may need to go spend some time. But the whole history and the important point that there were 7 other members of Annamacharya family who were also contributed into this field of compositions is interesting, and so many points. I mean, that was very, very informative and extensive research. So thank you so much for taking the efforts to prepare and educate all of us on the history of Annamacharya. And we've heard from Nandan before in this Kendram about his grandfather, but it is always refreshing to hear about the different types of efforts that went into making this whole Annamacharya Kritis accessible to one and all. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and I conclude my small set of analysis from the discussion today. Thank you.
So Nandan, you recite the Mangalam. I think. So on whole, we could just get some Annamacharya's information and inspiration. And incidentally, Prasad Rao Garu, the executive officer, who at last went and honored representing Lord Venkateswara to Ralapal Antakrishna Dharma. He is no more, but he is immortal for his work and contribution to Venkatramana Balaji. And his daughter and son-in-law are in this place, Chicago, and we are very close. And so we happened to meet Prasad Rao Garu also because of his, and he visited us also in our house in Bengaluru. So anyway, this is all of the Annamayya's grace and his blessings that is working live with all people, and it's a monumental work. That's why we always talk about our past, the contributions done by our past scholars. But contemporarily, more and more things should be done to enhance and also to have a creativity in that. So the creativity is important. So these few words, and thanking Dr. Nath Garu, Dr. Anjaneya Prasad, who rendered Vedic prayer, and also Nandan and Annapurna and all these people and several other people who participated. But in India, it is getting later. Therefore, some people might have taken relaxation. But today is Annamacharya's Aradhana Day, and we are all very happy. Thanks to everybody. So, Mangala Sansanam, Anandan can recite the last one, what we do when we do. Sir.
Om Sahana Bhavato सह नौ भुनक्तो सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु श्रीवेदपुरुष आशीर्वादो अस्तु समस्तसन्मङ्गलानि भवन्तु ॐ तत्सतु स्वस्ति
Thank you, Anand. Thank you all.
We can end the. So